Hey everybody, this is Samuel with the SDCS weekly review in the full stack JavaScript program. This week I had the opportunity to tighten up some projects, kind of go back to the foundations and kind of review some of my basic JavaScript, some of my basic CSS, and kind of get ready for what's ahead. So because I'm done with sort of the main curriculum, what I have next is a group project and a final project. So I'm waiting right now on another student, so that way we can have a project to work on together, and I'll have the opportunity to work alongside someone else and deal with merging code through GitHub, making pull requests and stuff like that. Surely we'll make plenty of novice mistakes, which will be great to have and great to experience. So that way, know a little bit more time after this to how to kind of move forward with better practices. So with all that said, I did get a lot done this week. Uh, and with that probably came a couple challenges. I think one that comes to mind is I was working on getting an API set up on my portfolio page. I had already had one set up through a service called MailChimp, but it wasn't really delivering in the way that I would like it to, so I changed it to SendGrid. And the API setup was pretty simple. It was only a few lines of code. It didn't require too much wiring up, but I couldn't figure out how to get the emails to send to me. So SendGrid allows you to have someone fill out a contact form on your website, and then the information can be sent directly to your email of choice. And I was able to confirm that it was working through the service itself. You do sort of a dry run test example, and the SendGrid.com will sort of tell you like if it's working or if it's not. And I saw that it was working, so it was great, but I wasn't getting the emails, so it kind of was tricky to figure out. Ended up just coming down to I needed to ultimately send an email to myself. I was having the email that someone put in as an email address to send directly to me, but I think that there were some security sort of precautions that prevented that from doing or from that occurring. So I changed it so that it would basically send an email to myself, and that worked. So not entirely sure if it's the best way to do it, but it's working. So for now, I'm gonna kind of carry on with that. And so yeah, the way that I figured that out was just sort of through trial and error, quite frankly, and probably took me an hour or two to figure out, and then I was able to. So yeah, beyond that, any advice I might have this week would probably, when you're at this point, definitely there's a lot to review. There's a lot of code that you can refactor in your previous project. So I spent some time doing exactly that. I refactored a couple projects at a couple places where things definitely could be improved upon. So I was able to make some fixes there, and that felt good. And I would also just recommend for you to really just, again, go back to the foundations. You spent a lot of good time in this course building out some great projects, but there's, of course, so much that you can still continue to refine and learn. You can't possibly learn everything in 3 months. So I think recognizing where your weaknesses still are and trying to improve upon those is definitely a good thing to do, especially when you're at the point where I'm at, where it won't be too long now where I'll actually have to start approaching employers and looking into the job search, and I'm going to have to require that I have some confidence in being able to demonstrate my sort of foundational abilities, if you will. So that would be my advice once you're to this point, is to kind of, just go back and do what you can through by looking at the previous projects that you had worked on, and refine those, and go back to the basics and practice some of that. So that would be my advice, and sort of all I have to say for this week. So thanks, guys.